Good morning to you. It's 7 o'clock here on the East Coast. I'm Laura Podesta. Anne-Marie Green has the week off. And we begin this morning in Wyoming, where after more than a week of searching, authorities say they've found a body consistent with the description of missing 22-year-old Gabby Petito. The body has not been officially identified and a cause of death has not yet been confirmed. Petito was last heard from late last month. She'd been traveling on a cross-country trip with her fiancé, Brian Laundrie. He's now the subject of an intense manhunt in Florida after disappearing last week. Bradley Blackburn is here to discuss. Bradley, good morning.
Laura, good morning. So many volunteers were joining in the search to try to find Gabby. The body was discovered by law enforcement agents who spent all weekend searching campsites near Grand Teton National Park. Her family had hoped to find Gabby alive. Still, they say they are grateful to those agents for bringing her home. The search for Gabby Petito appears to have come to a tragic end. A body matching the description of the missing woman was found by investigators yesterday at a campsite in Wyoming.
Full forensic identification has not been completed to confirm 100% that we found Gabby, but her family has been notified of this discovery. The cause of death has not been determined at this time.
Just after the news broke of the remains being found, Petito's father, Joe, shared a picture of Gabby on Twitter with a broken heart and the words, "She touched the world." The 22-year-old's family had not heard from her since late last month when she contacted them from Grand Teton National Park.
We continue to seek information from anyone who utilized the Spread Creek dispersed camping area between the dates of August 27th and August 30th.
In July, Petito set out on a cross-country drive with her fiancé, Brian Laundrie. On August 12th, a Utah police officer pulled their van over. The body cam video shows the couple in the middle of an emotional argument.
We just been fighting all morning and he wouldn't let me in the car before.
According to police, Laundrie was alone when he arrived at his parents' home in Florida on September 1st. He was named a person of interest in the case, but refused to speak to detectives before going missing last week.
Our goal is to locate him and bring him back to Northport.
Laundrie's family believes he's somewhere inside the Carlton Reserve, a 24,000-acre wildlife refuge in Sarasota County. Laundrie's family members finally spoke with investigators in detail on Friday when they reported his disappearance. At this point, Laundrie is still not a criminal suspect. Laura?
So, Bradley, as you mentioned, police in Northport, Florida, they were looking for Brian Laundrie in a reserve over the weekend. What do we know about the scope of that search and when they'll continue looking for him? Will they restart today?
Well, Laura, we know that police and FBI agents deployed more than 50 officers in that search over the weekend. They are combing through dense, swampy terrain looking for Laundrie using drones and search dogs. The department says they searched into the evening yesterday, and as of right now, they have nothing to report. They didn't say when they would resume the search, but we know they are going to continue looking for Laundrie.
A lot of people hoping for more details today. Bradley, thank you. And here for more analysis is James Gagliano. He's a law enforcement analyst and retired FBI supervisory agent. So as a former FBI agent, what is your take on the latest developments surrounding this case?
Sure. Well, good morning, Lauren. Thanks for having me on. First, unfortunately, even though the investigation has got a long way to go, we are very early in this. And as was correctly pointed out by Bradley, the boyfriend is still just a person of interest. And just to kind of deconflict that, the difference between a person of interest and a suspect is probable cause. Now, we do have a body. Police were able to locate that in Wyoming in the vast Grand Teton National Park, which in and of itself is a victory. Now they're going to be able to do forensic evidence. They'll conduct a toxicology report, and I think in a week we'll have some more details. But sadly, this story follows the script. In situations like this, where women or children go missing, it is most often somebody who's an intimate family member, typically male, and sadly, that's the way this appears at this juncture right now.
Going back to what you were saying about what was discovered in Grand Teton. The FBI says that the body that they found is consistent with the description of Gabby Petito, but they have not officially confirmed it yet. Is that normal FBI procedure? And what evidence do they need in order to make a statement that it is officially her?
So first of all, we got to look at how far the investigation has gone, right? It's between Florida and all the way out west in Wyoming. So absent a positive ID from a family member, and look, I don't know what the decomposition level of the body was. Obviously, DNA tests take a few days. Toxicology reports can sometimes take up to a week. So I think they're handling this in an abundance of caution. Obviously, they're pretty certain it's her, but before they can make a declarative statement on it, they've got to make sure that they run everything to ground.
They're so certain they even released a statement saying, quote, "We're saddened and heartbroken to learn that Gabby has been found deceased." So clearly a conflicting statement there. But like you said, they're just being overly cautious. Officials said that Brian Laundrie refused to speak with authorities upon returning home alone. Why didn't the police or the FBI take it upon themselves to question him or to go to the home and try and speak to him after Gabby was reported missing?
Well, everything's got to be done through our criminal justice system. And no matter how interested you are in talking to somebody as a law enforcement agent, without them agreeing to do it on their own, which he clearly has not, he's obviously lawyered up, and obviously that kind of triggers suspicion, but that in and of itself is not something that's indicia of guilt. So this next thing you've got to do is you've got to put the case together without his assistance. They'll get there. There's enough forensic evidence. They'll do it in two ways. They'll get physical evidence, obviously, that'll tie him to the body. Obviously, she was traveling with him. All the things like the Utah police officers pulling them over. There will also be testimonial evidence. They'll go back and talk to people that were in both of these young men, this young man and this young woman's lives, and they'll piece this together. Now, they can't just arrest him or hold him without probable cause. They've got to find that. And I imagine in the next day or so, once the toxicology report comes in, once all the DNA has been collected, I imagine they're going to have it, and you should see an arrest here pretty soon.
And of course, everything you're saying means they have to first find him. So what do you make of Brian Laundrie's disappearance? Would you even call it a disappearance, or do you believe he's in hiding?
So this is not the way that a normal grieving boyfriend would act, right? You would want to do everything you could to try to find where your missing girlfriend is, and then obviously once her body is found, to help out in the investigation. This is not normal actions. This is not the normal emotional response to somebody that lost somebody close to them in their lives. But again, we've got to proceed down a particular route here. The police have to build their case, and they've got to locate him now. Now, if they do end up charging him, then he has an unlawful flight to avoid prosecution, which is another charge, meaning he's trying not to be found right now. He doesn't want to be questioned. And sometimes in these cases, people commit suicide too. So that's something that police are obviously going to be looking into as well. He could have gone somewhere and killed himself or be holed up by family members, because no matter what somebody does, family members often will provide them shelter and sustenance. So police have obviously got a lot of work ahead of them, and it's a cross-country case. That's why the FBI's Denver division is involved, National Park Service, local police, and state police as well. This is going to be an all-hands-on-deck investigation.
And in addition to this extensive search, which you mentioned could be not only within this reserve, but could be going door to door to different relatives' houses to find out if he is holed up there. But what are some of the other steps you believe authorities will be taking in trying to solve this case?
Sure, Laura. So we exist in the 21st century. So everything, right, is tracked by some type of device. In law enforcement, we call that digital exhaust. So everything from cell phone records and data, who called who texted who, social media uploads, license plate readers as they were traveling across the country. Did they make any stops? Did they meet with any people? Is there anybody else that might be a person of interest? So you've got to balance that, the digital exhaust, which you're collecting, and then obviously doing your interviews. You've got to talk to family and friends. You've got to figure out, were they fighting? We know that there was a little dust up along the road to Wyoming and Utah. We know that the police officers that pulled them over are probably going to be good witnesses as to the state of mind of both of them, because they interviewed both of them. It's going to be a long, laborious, exhaustive process. First thing police need to do is locate Mr. Laundrie. He's a person of interest, but he could very quickly move into the suspect realm. They've got to locate him first and foremost.
And like you said, lots of evidence to comb through. We've also seen calls from the FBI to people who may have seen them or seen their van to submit those photos or that video that could be potential evidence. James Gagliano, thank you.
Thanks, Laura.
And in just a few moments, we'll be speaking with Taylor Wirtz from our Fort Myers affiliate on the latest in this case. She's outside the Laundrie family home right now in Northport, Florida. You can stream that conversation at 7:19 Eastern right here on CBSN AM.